Yeah, a lot of people say that carnivore or animal-based is too extreme. And honestly, I think a lot more people could do with being a bit more extreme. I'm only saying that because I used to be somebody that wasn't extreme in certain things, and it made my life a lot harder, like a lot harder. It's almost like we're feeling like we're losing something by being so extreme. Sometimes making decisions in the short term that are extreme are going to yield crazy positive results in the long term. Sometimes a lot of time in the short term too. In the long term is when we see the gains, whatever those may be, from being extreme. There's a cost to this and there's a benefit to being extreme. And for me, with eating carnivore or eating animal-based, I see that as an extreme that dramatically pays off on the other end. So much so that like I don't even see it as an extreme anymore. Like I kind of see it as like an obvious. For what I mean by that is like because I'm not eating the foods that I used to, where I used to feel really anxious. Like I'm talking like debilitatingly anxious. I don't know if any of you guys can relate to that, but really I dropped out of college. I was on antidepressants for 10 years. My brain was just constantly thinking. It's hard to describe unless you've kind of been in it, but that was my reality. And I was depressed and I did have an eating disorder. And I was eating pretty much like how everybody eats, you know, pretty standard. And also had poor rules for myself. And it wasn't until I found carnivore or animal-based that I ate carnivore for 1 month and like everything that I had ever struggled with, it seemed like totally melted away. I had no anxiety when I woke up, absolutely no inflammation in my body. There was like all the bloating that I had experienced for years on end just completely went away. I woke up early. I went to bed pleasantly. I had clarity of thought. My mind just felt good. I could move and run. I looked great. My attitude was good. I could think better. I was more productive at work. I mean, like literally everything got better because I chose to be for that 1 month very extreme in the food choices that I was making. So this argument that being too extreme sometimes with certain things, that it's bad or that it's almost like a negative that sometimes gets put on people when they eat carnivore or animal-based, to me, it makes no sense because what's the alternative? What, like I'm going to just eat the standard American diet like, and then have to deal with the health issues when I'm 55 or 65. And, you know, hopefully at that point in time, I have kids who I want to spend time with and a partner or a business, a couple businesses that I'm running. Like, I don't want to be sick at that time, but it's not like that's a guarantee. But if we look at majority of society, people are so sick and people are eating pills like candy. I mean, I think I read somewhere or I heard the other day from this YouTube video that this guy who used to work at the beverage industry, he said that on average, an individual in America will have 17 prescriptions per person. Like, that's wild. And obviously there's some outliers going to be in there. There's going to be some power users in there for sure. But that's the reality is like, even if it was 7, that's a ton of prescriptions. And I truly believe that so much of that comes from the food that we eat. And I can only share my own experience, but it's because of the quality of the food that we're given, and the food that we're taught that is good isn't actually necessarily really good for us. And often that food that we're told to eat is being told that to us by people and companies that are looking to generate profit. And it's not about our health. It's not about our mental health. So yeah, when I'm talking about being extreme with food, it's because I'm not trying to deal with all of the rest of the stuff. I don't want to be anxious. I don't want to look bad. I don't want to look in the mirror and feel like I don't like the way I look. I want to feel full. I want to feel energetic. I don't want to have an eating disorder. I want to eat a lot of food when I feel like it and feel satisfied when I do that. I don't want to be depressed. I want to be healthy. I want my skin to look good. And just all these things that are a result of me choosing to be a bit more extreme in that one category. And I think that's actually really a positive thing. And I think if somebody is to tell me that I'm too extreme, then I would almost question and be like, well, what's the trade-off? Like, what do you mean too extreme? Should I just be like decently like doing it and then my outcome is going to be decent? Like, I want to go hard and have great results. That's what I want. And I feel like that's what comes from going and being extreme. And I've seen that experience for me too, with deciding to stop drinking. Again, I think that to each his own. I think everybody needs to figure out their own relationship with things. And that's the only person that can decide that for anybody is themselves. I really believe that. For me, deciding to stop drinking, like going so extreme to the point that I decided to completely stop drinking and push it out of my life when I was 25, was a massive decision for me. And no one else at the time was doing that. I'm telling you, I lived in Denver. I lived in the middle of the city. I worked at a tech company. I was in sales. Like, tech plus sales plus the city equates to what you do on the weekends is probably go drink. So like, nobody else in my life at all was not drinking. I take that back. I think one person was, and that was it. We didn't really talk about it a ton. But that extreme decision took my life from like kind of shitty, kind of like depressing and filled with anxiety. And I didn't have very many hobbies, and I didn't have very many friends, and I was going through a breakup and all those things. It took it from that place that was dark and like lonely to a place where it is now, where I get to actually see the benefits of what being extreme has done for me. And I have since, I don't know what the word is, multiplied my income by 6. I don't know. I should know that. It's not quadrupled, obviously. It's like something like that. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, stupid. If somebody knows what that is, drop it down below. Multiplied my income by 6. My friendships are so much deeper, and they're strong. Like, at the time I had like maybe 2 people I felt like I could count on. Now I feel like I have like 6 or 7 real ass friendships. I have my health. I have like, I'm not on any antidepressants at all. None. And again, I was on Prozac for 10 years. I have so much more energy. I discovered something like carnivore, where now I don't have an eating disorder. And all of that came from the fact that I decided to be extreme and completely cut something out of my life. And again, that has shown me how valuable being extreme can be. And I don't think that everybody gets the value behind that or is seeing it in the right light. It's almost like we're feeling like we're losing something by being so extreme, when I think it's a matter of understanding that sometimes making decisions in the short term that are extreme are going to yield crazy positive results in the long term. Sometimes a lot of time in the short term too. But in the long term is when we see the gains, whatever those may be, from being extreme. And so, there's people out there who do amazing things, Olympians, David Goggins, he's somebody I really think is hilarious and super intense. I'd love to talk to him sometime on here and pick his brain, but he's an extreme dude. That's an extreme ass version of a dude. And he's done amazing stuff out there. He's now famous worldwide because he can run and done marathons, and now trains Marines and all. I mean, he's got a beautiful life because of it, because of his extremity. And I've seen that in other people too. You talk to other people about Olympians, right? They train every single day to be amazing at what they do. And they're extreme about it. Their diet is extreme. Their lifestyle is extreme, whatever. So back to this point of like carnivore or animal-based, is it extreme? If you hear that from people, I'm of the mindset that that's kind of a compliment. Not in every way, right? We have to pick and choose our extremes. We have to pick and choose our extremes. I think that's really important for me. And sometimes it's like, if we're thinking extreme is good, we make everything extreme. It's not to say that, but pick and choose the things that we want to be extreme on. And to me, I'm really working on this food relationship, and I am extreme. I'm extreme as hell on the carnivore thing because I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to look bad. I want to feel good. I don't want to look good. I want to look good when I'm 60. You know what I mean? And to me, that's worth it. So I don't know if any of you guys have heard this or you felt this from people and you felt this feedback. I encourage you to flip it on its head and look at it a little differently, maybe like this, and maybe value that about yourself a little bit more, because that does take some mental fortitude, and that does take some command of your own identity to make that kind of thing happen. And it's badass. So I don't know if that makes any sense at all. I hope it does, but if you did like this video, if you got something out of it, please like it so that other people out there might, who might need to see it, can see it via like the algorithm and all that. And I just love talking about all things human optimization, exploration, life hacks, all that kind of stuff on this channel. I have a lot of really interesting guests come on. If you guys ever think of anybody that's good to come on, go ahead and drop it down below too. But go ahead and subscribe, because frankly speaking, our realities are so much bigger than what we have been taught and told and sold. And it's a lot to do with our mind and the food that we're eating and all that kind of stuff. I've experienced this firsthand. So I'm compelled to share it with people. And that's a lot of what I do on this channel, to open our minds to how much potential we have and how much bigger our realities really are than what we may think right now, stuck in our home, watching this video alone and feeling, however we're feeling. So go ahead and subscribe, and yeah, comment below. Or message me on Instagram. That's where I talk to a lot of people on one-on-one. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to comment things on a video. So if you guys want to connect, go ahead and find me there. But I always appreciate you guys. I think y'all are just so cool and such a dope community here of open-minded, interested, and interesting people. So thank you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya.